Yes! But brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast, and we have another victory to talk about. It's a great time to be a Rotherham fan at the minute. We'll cover all the Tuesday night's antics, and we have a game on Sunday to talk about as well. So we'll come on to that later on in the show. We have more than a full house tonight. We have Mick with us, Michael.
Evening.
Danny is still with us. Thank you for joining us again, Danny.
Hello, everybody.
It's a pleasure to have you back again, Will.
Evening, gents.
I'm fresh from London, not from Wimbledon, but from London. We have Benjamin with us as well.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. Let's start, but if I can, Danny and Will, with your pre-match appearance on the Wimbledon podcast. 9 years. If anybody watched it, I watched it. It was very enjoyable. Talk us about Wimbledon set up, the new ground, and it looks like a really, really good setup.
Danny, do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Wimbledon's new ground, it is amazing, to be quite honest. From my experience, there was a little bit of squeaky bum time before getting to the podcast because of what the stewards were doing with the supporters bus, like fanning about round an industrial estate trying to get us parked up. But anyway, we made it in. I ended up following in the club's official photographer and just sort of snuck in behind him. And they took me up to their executive suite, I think it is, and they've got this really nice setup where you've got a really decent overlook of the ground. And they've got a chest high sort of table, like you sort of see in McDonald's with the high chairs. And yeah, brilliant little setup. There's the view outside is all over the back of the ground, so you can see the players warming up. They've got a massive fan zone inside the home end as well, which is basically just like you've gone into your local pub. It's really nice setup. They've got loads of different they've got loads of different food outlets on the outside concourse behind the stands, so you can get pizza, loaded hot dogs, steak, burgers, vegan options. And then in the away end there's just a little box for the away fans and their needs. But yeah, really, really decent setup, and it's all been fan funded as well, which makes it a little bit more special for him. Me and Will did get ambushed by 2 Wimbledon fans whilst we were in the queue, so it's oh dear, they've spotted the badges. We're not meant to be in here. But no, really nice staff as well who took us round. Really nice people on the podcast, and yeah, it was definitely a really nice experience. Got the grand tour. Get in.
Fantastic. The stadium itself, that will again, me and Mick didn't go, Ben didn't go either. It looks like a really strange stadium, but in a really good way. It sort of looks like it's situated in between 2 buildings, sort of thing. It looks like a really good, nice little ground, but suitable for them.
From the outside, you'd probably say it looks a little bit like IKEA. And if I'm honest, I didn't really know what to expect when we were there. But once I went inside, for me, it's the best stadium that I've been in outside of the New York Stadium in the EFL. Staff really welcoming. The hospitality was sort of similar to what we would do, I would imagine. And the media team that they've got up there at 9 Years Podcast are an absolute joy to work with. And the setup was as professional as you could see. I know at the moment that they're in talks with AFC Wimbledon to try and keep it on a longer term basis. So fingers crossed we did enough to help them to do that. And then in terms of back on the way around when we were led back to the away end, as Danny mentioned, the street food stuff is something that I'd not seen anywhere else and really appealed to me. On the corner of the stadium, they've put a bar in there, which if we had done the same at New York would be absolutely heaving, just like they have. So maybe there's a few learns that we can take from that as well. But yeah, unbelievable stadium, and as Danny said, they should be really proud given the fact that they've all fan funded that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Don London agrees. I thought the stewards were superb there. Fair, really friendly, great banter, and that's a key part of it. Liam McGarry with the important question is, when are Rotherham United going to give us a luxury box to do a podcast in? Well,
yeah, Toddy, that's a question for you, pal.
Yeah, Sam, if you're listening.
But we've got everybody. Bazza's with us, Evening Bazza, Scott Grundy, John S, Donald obviously with us, Liam McGarry's always with us. So let's get on with the football. Mick, the first half was mostly forgettable. Wimbledon never really troubled us, but we just never got into game. We were sort of in control without being that threatening, other than the offside goal.
Yeah, we started off reasonably well, didn't we? That first 5 or 10 minutes or so, we were quite we were well on top and really in charge of the game and really pushing. And then it kind of dropped off a little bit. Difficult to tell, whether that's down to the way Wimbledon were playing or just us taking our foot off the gas a little bit. I don't know, but it certainly did feel for the first 5 minutes or so that we could have had a hatful. But at the end of the day, don't matter how many we score, so long as we score more than the opposition ultimately, and that's obviously what we did. So, but it was a bit forgettable that first half, weren't it?
Yes, yeah, very much so. We saw a start though for Jamie Lindsay, Danny, which is a shame for Ollie Rathbone, but Jamie Lindsay came in and like he'd never been right. He definitely grew into. I thought he started good, really 10 minutes, quieting down, and then as the game then went on, stronger. He's Jamie Lindsay being Jamie Lindsay. They were very, very good, I thought.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that initial impact that he had was the player that hadn't started a game in a long time, and then obviously naturally just dropping off because he'd not started in a long time. But I think everybody got a little bit of a boot up the backside at half time. You need to be more aggressive, and we were second half, which eventually led to the goal. And we were good on the ball, which also led to the goal. But yeah, I think Jamie Lindsay has come in for Ollie Rathbone and his back injury very, very well. I didn't see much difference in midfield between in Lindsay and Rathbone. The only difference was that we had a slight Lancastrian accent on I follow next to Sam Todd. And yeah, I think Ollie Rathbone might actually go on to have a career in commentary because just starting out he was very good. But the main thing is we've kept hold of Lindsay through the transfer window, which I've read in the advertiser. Portsmouth are offering big wages for him. The fee wasn't so big, so we just told him no and put phone down. But I'm glad Lindsay's come in because he's very, very much a bolster in midfield and he can do the job that Ollie Rathbone does. And to have two players that can do that, and they're both ours, and it just goes to show how well the recruitment's done. I think to have two players very similar but also very different in their attitudes and approach to a game, which is rare for Rotherham. I haven't really seen that too much over the recent years, but now that we've got more or less two players who can do the same job in the same position, but are also happy to be here and not got on like Kieran Sadley's had recently. I think, great stuff. Well done to Lindsay as well.
Yeah, Patrick Curtin, good evening, gents. Ollie's commentary needs commending. With a pattern here, isn't there? Joe Matic went on commentary for Ipswich game. He was superb. Barlas has been on a couple of times, was excellent. They've all got careers lined up when they finish already. Brilliant. The bad news on the night, is before we talk about the goal in a minute, is Will Grigg, whatever it was, an hour or so. And it was really, really good. The goal looked very close to be onside, offside, disallowed. His link-up play was excellent. And then just by putting a cross in, twisted himself in a bad angle, and we're expecting him out for 8 weeks. It's a massive, massive blow for him, that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, as you say, his link-up play was second to none, and Warney's described him in his presser today as the gel holding the team together. So, going to be interesting to see how we adapt to that. 8 weeks is a long time in football, but I'm sure if we can make it to that Papa John's final, he'll try and be fit for that because he's not won at Wembley yet. A couple of attempts with Sunderland, but hopefully we can give him that medal as well. Disappointing, but listen, next man up. Josh Coyote's not a bad replacement, and we've got Georgie and Freddie as well. So not hugely concerned by the options that we've got potentially to come in, but disappointing for Griggy from a personal point of view.
Yeah, 100%. And again, before we get on the goal, Mick, one of the exciting things before game was Georgie Kelly on the bench, and we were very, very unlikely to see him. but it's still really exciting to see a new striker on bench.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of hoping he might get a little cameo for the last five or 10 minutes, and I suspect had we got a second, he might have done. But yeah, it is exciting. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. He's obviously not going to be match fit yet. I mean, he's, like we said before, it's 7, 8, 10 weeks since he's played football competitively. So he's going to have to get up to speed, and he's going to have to get up to speed Rotherham United style rather than, with the greatest respect to Bohemians, I can't imagine that their fitness regime is anything like the one that Paul Warne runs down at New York. So he's going to have a little bit of work cut out for him, but it's good to see him on the bench already. So fingers crossed, you never know. He might just be able to take that spot away from JJ, who for me is in pole position for it at the moment.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think I just realised we got father and son listening to us. We've got Steve Grundy in from Sheffield, and we've got Scott Grundy, Steve's dad, from Sheffield. So thank you for joining us, both of you. I hope you're both in the same household watching separately. Thank you, everybody. So let's move on to the goal itself, Danny. The Rotherham United, the big long ball physical team, did the opposite of a long ball physical team. It was a really nicely worked goal from everybody. And Chio can't put a good cross in to save his life, put a really, really nice, steady cross in. And all praise to JJ. That run's really clever and the finish is lovely.
Yeah, it is. And odd fact is that Chio has assisted 100% of KO's goals this season, which is, players linking up. We're all for that, aren't we? Yeah. But yeah, I watched the game back on our fellow, as you do, after getting it at 2:00 in the morning. And I counted 14 really well-placed passes in the build-up to our goal. So Rotherham have turned into prime Barcelona. So any Wednesday fans watching, you can clip that straight away. But yeah, it's a really composed finish from JJ. Bear in mind he's off balance and, he's got the pressure of the defender there. It is a very well-taken finish from Chio's cross. And if anyone who's watched the vlog knows what I'm like, I'm screaming, it's JJ again, because now he's broken both Rotherham ducks. He's scored his first goal. Now he's scored his first league goal. And like we say, it's now probably his shirt to lose now that Griggs unfortunately gone out injured. And the way we've been shaping up with Ladipo on the bench and bringing JJ on in front of him, it could be Kelly, who's now main contention for that berth next to Michael Smith when KO comes off. But one comment I will say on Georgie Kelly, his wife or his girlfriend or fiance or whatever was actually in the away end with the Rotherham fans, and so we've all gone hurtling down to shake his hand in the start of his cool down, and she's just there with the biggest smile I've ever seen in my life on someone's wife or whatever. So there you go, Georgie, your wife is already a Miller. Yes, get him.
Excellent news. We've got another member of the Grundy family, Gav, with us as well. Hello, the Grundys. Nice to have you.
Are they all in the same house? That is the question.
Can we just confirm this is New York talk and not family fortunes?
Sheffield Wednesday, a small club.
How many members of the studio audience said?
Top answer.
Yeah, brilliant. We talked about JJ on the last episode before, Will, about him when he comes on, he looks better, he looks calmer, he looks measured, and that was shown in his goal. The goal is so easy. That type of finish is easy to slice it wide or get too much under it, and to slice it up at top. It deserves so much credit. It's a really, really tidy, calm finish.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like we've got a guy in Josh Coyote that can do a bit of both, doesn't it? We've all been really impressed recently because of his infectious ability to just chase absolutely anything. But despite the fact that he's been on that pitch 41 minutes on Tuesday, the defence will definitely know that they've been in a game with him all over them. Pace and power, but, had the nous to get in the box and a really cute finish. And I think at the start of the season, we had the option to give him a little bit of time away and that match experience elsewhere from Rotherham, or to keep him at the club and to learn from the staff and the players like, your Michael Smith and Will Grigg. And it's very clear to see that although I didn't think it was the right choice maybe at the start of the season, I was absolutely wrong. And We've got this decision absolutely spot on.
Yeah. Ben, what are your thoughts on JJ? Obviously, I know you weren't able to watch the game itself, but what Will just mentioned there, it's so easy for a club to just put him out on loan to, let's say, Cheltenham, another League One, lower league. It would have been so easy to pump him out there and get minutes under his belt. It looks like, and I agree, I completely agree with it, looks like keeping him within the squad and keeping him within the Rotherham bubble seems to have progressed him into a place where he's in a good place.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got Smith, who is one of the best strikers in football, in EFL, best striker in League One. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not comparing,
I do.
Use
your words.
But, yeah. And we've got Grigg, who's a well-known League One goal scorer, and also Freddie, who's a lesser known League One goal scorer, but still a well-known goal scorer. So you've got 3 strikers there who are all very, very good in different aspects. So keeping them at the club is probably a smart decision, because you learn the big physical side from Smith and touch and that, and then you learn the finishing side from Grigg. So yeah, I think it's the right decision. It's obviously the right decision because he's developing, but it's just if he can keep that development going and perform, because that's what matters, isn't it? Performance. Because you don't want to be saying in 5 years, oh, they can still develop, type of thing. So yeah,
I think that's fair. Yeah,
thank you.
Mick, before we move on to other areas of the pitch, thoughts on the striking situation? Like, Grigg's a blow, but keeping Freddie, I know it wasn't necessarily our choice, but keeping Freddie now looks a masterstroke because we are not short at all on strikers now, even though we've got back the 1 8-week injury.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that's the answer, isn't it? We're not short on strikers. And I would argue probably because of what's happened, Freddie remains bottom of the pile. But if you've got a player of Freddie's ability at the bottom of your striking pile, if you like, you're obviously in a good place. As Ben and Will have both said tonight and in the last podcast, Michael Smith is without doubt one of the best, if not the best, striker in the EFL at the moment in terms of being a complete package. You know, he's hitting the goals, he's getting the assists, and he's doing and the work rate that he's got is just immense. So, you know, and then we've got JJ coming up behind him, we've got Freddie, and we've got Georgie Kelly as well. So yeah, it's a blow for Griggy because Grigg's been excellent. He's shown all his experience, all his guile that he's learned over the years to help create space for other players whilst not scoring the goals himself. I think I'm not sure whether there's a bit of what I don't know what the right word is, a bit of bluff from Warney when he says he's the glue that holds the team together, because he's not by any stretch of anybody's imagination. He's been important to the team, but he ain't the glue that holds it together. So whether he's trying to just throw up a bit of a smoke screen there or what, I don't know. But it's going to be a miss for us, but we'll fill his boots. It's just a shame it's more of a shame for him than it is for us.
Yeah, I think it's fair. The thing that really won this game, obviously we scored 1 goal, Danny, but they never looked like scoring, and we have to doff our caps to the defensive performance once again, because we just suffocated them. But that from we had a lot of the ball, but that's because we've defended so well. We just didn't allow them any time, any moments on the ball, and that goes from the defence into the midfield. I thought we were just almost faultless again from a defensive point of view.
Yeah, excuse me. It was quite similar to the Donny game. We sort of just kept them just at arm's length and not really let them have a really good shot on target. I think Vickers could have sat down and had a cup of tea, to be fair. He wasn't really needed. And that's what we've done away from home this season. We have limited teams to probably only a few chances. You know, there's a reason we've only conceded 5 away this season, which is still an insane stat to read. 5 goals conceded away from home. Only 5. And how many away games have we played? About 15, 16 or so.
Like that, I'll have a look.
It
must be at least that, yeah.
We've conceded 5, you know, and to match that up, we're very good at home
15.
as well. Yeah, 15. So 5 goals conceded in 15 games. Wow. But then again, it is down to the hard work of the defence. And again, we all I think a few Rotherham fans had probably a little mini panic attack when we saw that Woody was suspended, Icky was out injured, in a bit of a, what we're going to do. But, it just goes to show our defensive depth that even though we had our main captain out, we were still very solid with 3 players who, well, with Icky started more than the other 2, but 2 that haven't really been in the starting 11 as much as the rest, but we've still put in a shift, and I think it goes to show our depth, our friendship of the squad as well, to all have each other's back, but also everybody's desire to do well for the team. It's almost as if we've shifted out the people who didn't want to play as part of the team, other than Freddie, because now offers came in. But we've got rid of Tilt, and the rest of the squad want to be here. So you're sort of mucking for your mates, and I think that's what we've done in defence more than anything. We're there for each other, and we put the bodies on the line. Unfortunately, Woody got sent off for doing that, even though it was never a handball. And and I have proof to back this up because
Danny, have these, mate.
I have evidence for this. I explained the situation to the lass who was sat next to me on the Wimbledon podcast, who was a qualified referee. I explained the situation. She went, "Yeah, I think he's got it wrong." There you go. There you go. Case closed, done. It wants an handball.
I explained to somebody at work who also weren't there, and they said that as well.
They weren't a referee though, were they?
No, true. Yeah. Icky was, again, very, very good in the second 3. I want to single out Matic again for some praise, though, Will, because he's barely played this year. We've got 4 or 5 league games, if that. And he's come into the league games anyway and been superb. Against Donny, were brilliant. And again, on Tuesday, he's just not putting anything wrong. And that just shows the experience of a guy. Want to talk about muscle memory. And he just comes in and just knows his job, and that's how he does it.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, he's very well drilled in terms of what Warney expects by this point, and from a defensive point of view, didn't put a foot wrong, as you mentioned. I just want to touch actually on the tactical side of this game, because I think we're not actually giving Warney and his coaching staff enough credit, if I'm honest. I think first half, typically I said that they set up in a 4-2-3-1, and they actually set up with a 3 at the back on Tuesday, which I think for them was probably detrimental to what they can do going forward. But for us, caused a few issues in that first half, and I don't think we moved the ball anywhere near quick enough into those wide areas. And although we kept a set piece threat, I don't think we probably did enough to warrant winning the game first half, if I'm completely honest. Whatever Warney said at half time, and his staff, of course, really worked, because we moved the ball out much quicker to the wings. And I think Ferguson and Ogbene both had a lot more joy. And the off-the-ball movement from Lindsay in the lead up to the goal, which won't really be talked about, is one of the reasons that we were 1-0 up, really, really strong from him. So, from listening to the AFC Wimbledon managers, post-match interview, he said that they really struggled to play through the counter press because we like to keep teams in one area, and they had a little bit of threat through Ayuba Sal down our left at some point, down their left at some points, but I didn't feel at any point that they were really going to score, if I'm honest. So yeah, from a coaching point of view and tactically, got it spot on.
Yeah, completely agree. And Steve Cooper mentions moving to the midfield 3 to make midfield 3 were excellent. Dan Barlas is just doing Dan Barlas again. He's just he talk about Grigby and everything, holds it together. Dan Barlas was one of the ones that holds it all together, and it was once again just fantastic.
It is immense, and it is absolutely immense. And the thing about it is as well, if you take so what some teams will come and do, they'll come and try and take Dan Barlas out of the game by marking him out of the game or whatever. But then you've just got Ben Wiles, you've got Lindsay, Jamie Lindsay, you've got Ollie Rathbone, all of whom can do what Dan Barlas does, not as well by any stretch, but they can all slot into that position and do the same job. Yeah, but he is one on his own, isn't he? He is one on his own. And I know this probably should come a bit later in the show, but he is the best midfielder in this division. No question. No debate.
Don't take anybody else over him.
No argument. As Rotherham United supporters, we've watched him for the whole season, and we've seen what he's capable of, and he can pull those strings wherever you want him to pull it, and he can also pull a screamer out of the bag as well. He is the complete package as far as that sitting holding midfielder / quarterback. Anywhere in this league, anywhere. Unbelievable player. Far too good to be playing for Rotherham United. It's true, though, isn't it?
Right. It is, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. We're going to have a word for Ben Wiles as well, Danny, because again, I thought it was excellent. 2 games in a row where he's sort of shone. He's just when he's at his best, he's just a ball of energy that's brilliant on ball, and he's so difficult for defenders to deal with.
Yeah, he is, and he had a good crack at goal as well, which he very nearly scored. So. Yeah, there's not much else to say about Ben Wiles, is there? I mean, you've took the words straight out of my mouth with that one. He is one of. It's weird because Rotherham have probably 4 of the best midfielders in this division. Yet some other teams claim they've got the best midfielder in the division. It's like, no, lads, we've got the whole package. That's why we've conceded 18 in the whole season. I mean, one of our former players struggled in the midfield of another team. Who supposedly got the best midfielder in the league. And now that he's gone, they've all been singing the other players' praises, to be fair, even though it seems like he's been there for 100 years. But with Ben Wiles, because he's got the element of youth on his side, and this is what me and Will said on the podcast, because the Wimbledon podcast, because they highlighted Ben Wiles as like one of our most key players. He is just coming into his own this season. It's his, it's his best professional season as well as a footballer, and this season he's really showing what he's all about, and he's just crying out for him to bag an absolute screamer again, isn't it? And you never know. There's a game coming soon. You never know.
Yeah, very much so. Bazza with one of the great points of the night. Great to see Angus Mcdonald get a run out, and it might have only been 10 minutes or so. But, first game since Cardiff last year that he's come on and played minutes for. Just an amazing moment to see him back up pitch in our shirt.
Yeah, to be honest, an emotional moment, I think, probably for all involved, not only as fans and coaching staff, but also for Angus himself. And I'm sure the raucous reception that he received for the time that he was on, would have been really well received by Angus as well. It's been a really tough ride for him, hasn't it? And just to see him back out there to get the reception that reception is just incredible. And Warney spoke about him in his presser today, saying that he's a leader of the team. And I think probably when he's fit, he's probably the second best centre back that we've got at the club. So, really good to see him back. And when he had that volley from the immediate set piece, how willing it to fly in off a defender and going back in net. Unfortunately not, but yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, he had an eventful first few minutes, didn't he? He had that volley and then got kicked in the face 2 minutes later.
The story of a defender.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's not the things you look forward to when there's things you will have almost missed, that battle and that fight. I can only imagine. Brilliant to see him back up pitch. And if we keep picking up injuries, it won't be long till he's back in team full time. Like Will says, I agree. He's one of the best defenders we've got. So, just about done. Is there anything else you want to pick up? Any points we've missed? Any chances? Any individual performances that we need to mention? I think we've just about covered it in record time.
Just want to touch, if I can, on where this leaves us. So, the obvious stat is that we're now 9 points clear of Wigan and 3 games in hand on them. But 538, who are a data and analysis website, predicts now that we are 92% likely of promotion with 70% like chance to win the league as well. And that's based around the statistics that we've put together so far and then the running analysis as well. So they've got us at potentially 93 points overall. So, yeah, great place to be at the moment.
Yeah, so we sit 9 points out of Wigan. They've got 3 games in hand to us, and we play them next Friday. We're 9 points clear of McDonald's in third, but we have a game in hand to them. We're sitting on 65 points after 30 games. we are in a ridiculously good position. I got giddy on after game on Tuesday. I've done some research, and basically, at what points total do you need to get up? And 90 points will see you promoted. Only twice in the entire history of the EFL, in all 3 leagues, since 3 points, 90 points not been enough to get you up. So 90 points is going to see us promoted. So we need 25 points in the remaining 16 games, which, if you look at how many points we've got so far, is entirely doable. But, and there's a big but, football's a funny old game. We could get 10 more points and drop out of playoffs. I don't think it'll happen, but that could happen. It's an amazing position, Danny, and it's difficult. I'm finding it really difficult not to get too giddy and not to get ahead of myself, because the position is just amazing. Anybody offer you this, you wouldn't believe your luck, would you? And we can't believe his luck.
No, especially as a Rotherham fan, where we haven't really had a sniff of going up as league champions for best part of 20 years now, isn't it? And again, I got a little bit too hyper about looking at the league table, and I think we need 12 wins from our last 16 to go up with 100 points, which which would be amazing, because the only team that's ever really come close to that, if you calculate 3 points for a win, is the 1950-51 squad. And I feel like I've mentioned that squad a million times on this podcast now, but that's the sort of level we're talking about. But with that squad, I think they would have gone up with something ridiculous like 116 points. But if you calculate 3 points for a win, which is like ridiculous. Okay. So we can't do that, obviously. No. But if we keep doing what we're doing and we keep our goals conceded as low as it is, and keep our goals for as high as it is, and see out games the way we've been seeing them out and keep scoring goals and etc., why not? It comes to that thing of why not. And I mean, some noisy people over in South Barnsley might say that the next game is our cup final, but I'm more concentrating on the Friday game against Wigan, because then that's another. If we get 3 points against Wigan, that's another pushback to the team in second. And really, to focus on just one game in this last 16 running isn't what we need to do. We need to say, right, take every game as a cup final, 16 cup final, probably including another 2 in the Pizza Trophy. What can we do with it? It's in our court. The ball is in nobody else's court. Everybody else is playing catch up. We need to focus on what we're doing and see where it takes us. It's like Warney said, he put some sort of inspirational quote in the paper about life is full of great expectations and great things happening and this, that, and the other. And that's our season. This could be everybody's season, not just the fans, but the players. When are you going to get a chance to play at Wembley again? When are you going to get a chance to win a league title again, etc., etc., etc.? Just go for it. You know what I mean? That's my mentality behind it. Just go for it. If we don't get it, we don't get it. Don't matter. But when you've got the chance to go for it, you go for it. And I think that should be everybody's mentality now, except when you get the opportunity to run on a football pitch, that's when you don't do it.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
Our points per game, if our points per game continues at the same rate, we are set for 99 points. Obviously, again, that's all average out and things like that. But with that far into the season, it's starting to be relevant. It's not 10 games in where it's pointless. 30 games in is a good marker. You're the old head amongst us. I think you and Ben are as negative as each other, but where do you sit on the giddiness of our current position?
Yeah, it's a very, very pleasant place to be, isn't it? Sitting there looking down on everybody else, with a game in hand to a lot of them as well. So big gap in there. There is a big gap. You need to be careful of that gap. It's a great place to be. Great place to be, mate.
Yeah, it is.
And it starts.
Ben. Ben, me and Mick talked about this on Tuesday after the game, that if this was, let's put Wigan in our position, we're saying that they're gone. We're saying don't worry about top of the league. They're 9 points clear. That's not our fight. Because we're in that position, I don't feel like I can say that, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've never been in this position, so I don't really know what to say. We're always chasing, not being chased. So it's weird. It's very weird. It's exciting. It's weird. It's just I don't know, but it's just something that gets you happy after you look at the league table. It just makes you happy. You know what? It's going to be interesting because if they win all their games in hand, which I doubt they will, to be fair, but it's going to be the first time where it's like we're neck and neck for the. It's like neck and neck for a title. Do you know what I mean? It's like, like, do you know what I mean? That's like stuff you write. Obviously, it's League One.
It's stuff for dreams, isn't it?
But yeah, it's League One, like, but it's still for
league title's league title.
Big. League title's a league title. That's very true. That's very true.
Yes, it is. Right, we're going to have a very quick break while we hear from our sponsors, Manscaped, and then we're going to have a quick chat about Sunday's Cup final that's happening on Sunday. Back in a sec. So it's my month to tell you all about how amazing Manscaped is, and it is. But I felt like Ben's advert was too much of a masterpiece to throw in the bin just yet. So take it away, Ben.
They're promoting their new product, the Lawnmower 4.0, which is kind of well known for reducing cuts and making it a lot easier to trim your balls. You can buy this separately or in a bundle called the Performance Package, which in that you get a ball toner, and ball deodorant, which are actually very handy because they're specifically designed for your balls, so they work very well. I highly recommend all of this. The lawnmower, it comes with a little light. There that comes on when you turn the razor on. So it's very good. It comes with a little charging port, which is also a little holder. Yeah, I highly recommend it. I use it, and I highly recommend it.
If you want to join Ben and over 4 million men worldwide who already have Manscaped, go to manscaped.com using code MYT at checkout for 20% off, free shipping. And Ben highly recommends it.
So what you decided to do was just leave me in there looking stupid.
That's exactly what I thought, yeah. I didn't even leave your bit into the end where you actually said something. You just sat there. I was proud of myself when I thought of that. Yeah. So as I said before that, it's Sunday afternoon is the cup final. You know, when top of league comes to your home ground, it's always like a cup final. So you can only imagine what they're feeling coming into the game, and how big it is for them.
Sorry, just doing sort of. I've been joined by my new friend just for this section. Good pick, good play. You stay there. Good play.
Good figures. Brilliant. Right, Sheffield Wednesday on Sunday, Mick. It's a derby, but it's not a derby, but it is a derby. I'm confused about their Twitter feed, to be honest with you.
Sorry if we offend anybody, by the way, for calling it a derby when it's not a derby, but it technically is a derby. But we're not playing derby, we're playing Sheffield Wednesday. So sorry if we offend anybody.
Yeah, don't call it a derby, Mick. Mick, don't call it a derby. Whatever you do, don't call it a derby. It's not a derby. How big a game in the question all Sheffield Wednesday fans want to know, and they do, how big a game is this for us?
Well, I mean, you look back at the season, you look back at what we've managed to achieve this season already, where we are in the league, and the sort of development that's happened throughout the squad, you know, across the season, has all been building towards this weekend. You know, it's become. It's been a focal point, hasn't it? You know, since August, we've been working towards recreating those special moments that we've had over there, and it's just about everything. Everything now is about Sunday. You know, this is what we've been working towards, and for me, it's the biggest game we've ever had. You know, it's more than a cup final. It's more important than a cup final. It's more important than life itself, really. I'm nervous. I'm apprehensive. Because the bottom line is, you know, that, you know, if we lose, we'll never ever be able to show our face in Rotherham again, because obviously that's where all Wednesday fans live. So it's going to be very, very difficult for us to even raise our heads in our own town. So Mate, I am so nervous for this. This is massive, absolute massive. Have I heard that before? I don't know. Yeah, big in it, huge. Mind the gap.
Very good, Mick. Very, very good.
Oh Christ!
Right.
Oh. You're so beautiful, sled mate.
Very well said.
What I would say is just one more thing I would add to that. In all seriousness, I'm obviously taking Mickey. Win, lose or draw is irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant from a Rotherham United point of view, from a team point of view, from a league position point of view. We can afford to lose this game. Not a problem. Not a problem at all.
Oh yeah. We're in a league position, where we can afford to lose a game or two. Yeah. And one of the things at this stage of the season is trying to match your results from previous in the season. If you're in this position, you've got good results. We lost to them last time. Obviously, improvement on that would be amazing. But it's all about just match, almost matching. So the loss wouldn't be the end of the world, but you don't want to lose to them. Danny, Ashley McGarris, put Derby aside. Very excited for the game, as I am. How many tickets sold? We sold 3,000 plus again, haven't we? We should only do it next 24 to 40 hours.
Yeah, we've sold, I think it's roughly 3,300, and we've got the allocation that takes it above 4,000. So we've sold more than Wednesday did, and it's regardless of stadium size or anything to do with that, or the fact that Sheffield's got 4 times the population of Rotherham. Well, yeah, we've sold more tickets, so victory is ours in it. But I will admit that probably Wednesday is one of the best days of the week. I will admit that at one point I did think about supporting Wednesdays, but only because they used to do chocolate cake and chocolate custard at primary school. That's the only time the thought has crossed my mind. But yeah, it is a very exciting game, more because we don't really have the situation where the biggest club in South Yorkshire are 13 points behind us and 6 places. I think the last time we were in any sort of position like this was in the 13-14 when we were a few points above Sheffield United and we got into the playoffs and they didn't. If anyone wants to reply in the comments, when was the last time we finished above Sheff Wednesday? Wait, actually, no, it was last season. When we finished above Sheff Wednesday in a League One season, shall I say? Please comment down below. We'll have to wait and see when that was because I have no idea. But yeah, it is exciting, and we have got both tiers of the away end as well. So some clubs haven't even managed that this season. There was a bit of chatter about the police closing the Leppings Lane bottom tier because of our pitch invasion exploits. They've now backtracked on that and given us the extra $750. So yeah, I think Hillsborough will be bouncing, but hopefully it'll be our bounce that isn't killed, unlike what someone did to their bounce a few years ago.
Yeah. Ben, you're back for this first game in a couple of weeks for you because of your London exploits. It's a derby. You missed the Donny game, so this is obviously the first away derby of the season. It's going to be an immense atmosphere, and any derby, whether it's Pigs or Donny or whatever, it's just a good game to look forward to. It's a derby game, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's what. Well, yeah. I mean, regardless of what they think, I think it's a derby. And you know, that's kind of what sports is for. Derbies, local derbies. Yeah, I mean, you hate it when you lose, you love it when you win. It's kind of the whole point, isn't it? I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited for it. I hope that doesn't. Yeah, I hope we don't lose. I just don't want to lose because I just don't want to lose. I don't like losing, and yeah, especially to Wednesday. But I think we've got a good chance. I think it's going to be a good game because they're. I think I saw something earlier about the form table. I think us and them are third. I think I think in the last 6 games we've both won 5 and lost 1 or drawn 1. Lost 1, I think.
They've won 4 in a row. We won 5 in a row without conceding. I think they've won 4 in a row without conceding.
Our forms are very similar and very good. So it's going to be. Looks like it's going to be a good game. So
yeah. Well, thoughts on Sunday? We'll talk about this sort of tactics and how we're going to set up, how I think they're going to set up. But how much are you looking forward to the big?
It looks like Will's gone to dark side.
To be honest, I just want to apologise because it looks like I can't afford to pay my electric, but there is a light on, I promise. In terms of the game, I'm not as emotionally invested in, if I'm completely honest. I'm more focused on what we can do within the season. So for me, not particularly asked about Wednesday. Wednesday can do whatever they want to do, and for us, it'll be a really, really difficult game. And something's got to give because they've only conceded 10 goals at home, and we've obviously only conceded 5 goals away. So something's going to happen. I think they're probably going to match us up 3-5-2, and they've had a lot more success since Sam Hutchinson's come back into their back line, and they've signed Jordan Story as well. But I have been made aware midweek that the game against Wigan would have taken quite a lot out of them. So it'll be interesting to see whether they sit in and really try and pick us apart after that 70th minute mark, or whether they come for us nice and early on through the pace of Mendes, Lang and such like of that. Lots of key players to knock around, and obviously the main one is Bannon. Everyone knows about Bannon. But they've been at the best this season when Luongo's played, because he is the sitter in their midfield. He's the guy that gives the likes of Byers and Bannon the license to go forward and be creative and create those opportunities. So, going to be a difficult one. At the moment, 5-3-8 has them as the biggest threats to the automatic places, suggesting that they're now a 22% chance of being promoted. So, I'm not looking forward to the fact that, Hillsborough's an absolute hellhole in it, and the pitch won't be great. And if it's going to be one of those games where it'll be a goal that nicks it either way, 1-0, or an absolute bore fest for me.
Yeah, I'll go into predictions in a minute. I'm leaning towards the ball fest. To be honest with you. I think because it's time of season, Ben. If we were playing them in August like we were, that would be a big game because it were early on in season. But now priorities have shifted. You play somebody in February when you're in our situation. The priority is the league rather than bragging rights over some people, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, 100%. You've got to get your priorities straight. I know it's very hard to get caught up in the derby day.
Fun.
What's the word? The what? Fun. Yeah. Fun. Yeah. Fun. But, we've got to put it into perspective. I don't want to do it as a fan because it's boring, isn't it? But as a player and as a team, you've got to put it in perspective that, you don't want to go into any stupid challenges and get either sent off or injured because you don't want to mess it up. You know what I mean? I'd rather draw than lose, if that makes sense. So rather draw than lose, trying to go for glory. So it's still going to be fun though.
Should be fun. Well, it's going to be. You're going to be talking almost 4,000 fans anywhere. That's just fun, isn't it? That's just what you want. That's what football's all about. And thankfully, their ticket price are semi-reasonable this year, so that's why we're going to get such a good away following. And we play after everybody else. You got to bear in mind that we play Sunday, Wigan, everybody else plays Saturday, so we'll know what everybody else has done. And because we're ahead anyway, that puts us in a really, really good position for me. I was looking back, thinking about the game back in August, Mick, and I know Sheffield Wednesday are a good team, and I know they've got some very, very good players. But looking back now, we showed them too much respect at the time, didn't we? Yeah,
we did. We did. I mean, we had the issue reasonably early on with Chio going off, which kind of upset the balance of the team anyway. It was very early in the season. The team had not quite started gelling together, had they, at that point? We had the Fleetwood debacle, which was that the week after or the week before? I can't remember. Just after.
A couple of weeks after.
And from that point on, 21 games unbeaten and away we went, So, maybe we did show them a bit too much respect, but I don't necessarily think that was because it was a derby or because of who it was. I just think more that the team wasn't quite in the same place that they are now and have been for the last 5 or 6 months or 3 or 4 months, sorry. So, maybe we did, maybe we didn't, but I don't think they're going to get any respect on Sunday. I think they'll get treated the same way that every other team gets treated. And that'll basically just be relentless work for 95, 100 minutes, however long they end up playing. So if Wednesday are going to come away with anything out of the game on Sunday, they are going to have to work for it and they're going to have to work harder probably than they've worked all season. And if they do, good luck to them, whatever. Ultimately, and I know in all seriousness, the biggest game we've got coming up at the moment is a week on Friday at home to Wigan. That is the key game for us. Looking at the next sort of 3 or 4 fixtures, winning this one would just be gravy, really, wouldn't it?
It would, but if you look at it, if we say Wigan, this is all theoretical. Wigan win Saturday, we lose. Wigan play again on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So when we play Wigan again, we could only be 3 points ahead of them.
Yeah.
All ifs and buts, maybes, and everything else, but let's match what we got. The last time out against Wednesday, Danny, again, we put a lot of emphasis on Barry Bannon. Not as a podcast, I mean, on the pitch at the minute. We'll talk about that, I suppose, in a minute. But we essentially just said to Jamie Lindsay, go stand next to him. Wherever Barry Bannon goes, you go. And it did a good job. Barry Bannon didn't have any impact on the game at all, but it did impact us. It took Jamie Lindsay's positives on the ball away. Do you think we'll see a similar sort of tactic, or what do you reckon?
That's a good question, actually. We should be asking Warney this, not me. I mean, possibly we could see something similar. But I don't know, maybe we could stick Ben Wiles on him and let him bite him or something. I don't know. But like we say, I think possibly with Lindsay marking Bannon, it takes away his positivity on the ball, but we effectively marked him out the game. And Wednesday's goals, excuse me, I've got a really bad cough. I'm singing Angus Mcdonald's name at Wimbledon. But we sort of limited their chances. And the only reason they sort of got goals was from a mistake from Victor and I believe a defensive error. Yeah. So, they weren't miles better than us last time. It weren't like men against boys, but, they just took the chances. And I think if we are able to do that on Sunday, we could win the game easily as well, possibly. But it's all hinges on that taking chances, which more recently we have been doing. Like whenever there's a shot at goal, it doesn't matter what position you play and you have a go. Could go in, could not. But yeah, just take chances a little bit. If we take our chances, we could win very easily. But we've both, virtually everyone said they'll be out to frustrate us and we're wanting an improvement to the last game against us. But I don't know, Hillsborough seems to be a good hunting ground for us recently. I really hope that was someone's chair that just made that noise. But this is the thing that I've been fascinated with in my brain, right? Georgie Kelly comes on for KO'd whatever minute, added time he scores and jumps into away end with our fans. Picture that. Yeah. That would be incredible. It won't happen, but it will be incredible. I think that covers everything really. But one thing I would like to see is Woody's first win as Rotherham captain at Hillsborough, because he says he's never had that, and Matt Crooks sort of stole his glory last time. So now he's sort of like he's able to do it, and I really hope he does do it, and I really hope he gets in the face of somebody, because we know what Woody's like. He does like a bit of a finesse episode with some players, doesn't he? It's just a shame it won't be Lewis Wing this time, but I really hope. No. I don't know. I just hope Woody gets stuck in this time.
Not so much though.
Not red card stuck in Woody, but just like a good stuck. I hope everyone does. To be fair, I hope we make the game as hard as possible for them, because we know what they're going to do it to us. It's 0-0 written all over it now, isn't it? But I would just like to highlight a comment that I saw a second ago about how I'm wearing the wrong shirt again. So yes, it's my fault if we lose. But the last time I said that, we beat Donny 5-0. So.
Oh, so maybe we're not going to lose.
I don't know. I will take the blame if we do lose because I'm wearing the wrong shirt. Well, let's see.
Own it. If we beat Donny 5-0, that means we've got a very comfortable Sunday afternoon coming. I like it. Yeah. Thing about Warney is, Will, that he knows how to get players up for games, and as much as they don't like it, it is a derby, and Paul Warne knows it's a derby, and he will get his players sufficiently up for this game. we can sit here and say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It'd be nice to win, but it doesn't matter." But that's not Paul Warren's not having that conversation, is he? Really?
No, I mean, rivalries has changed significantly over the last sort of 20 years or so. So for players, there is less feeling towards a derby, I would suggest. But if you read the social media, it doesn't take a lot for you to understand that for the fans, this actually is quite a big game for them. So for me, the team talks there. Just essentially have a quick look at the social media, see what everyone's saying, and take it all in and go from there.
And when we spoke to Barlasamick, he mentioned that on the lockdown game that one he just knows how to get. He still has to the right things in. He makes the players understand that. Yeah, I assume he did the same with Donny game because they came out flying, didn't they? You've got to assume it was a similar sort of conversation, really. Yeah,
I'm not convinced with the size of the crowd, home and away, on Sunday, that he's going to really need to get them up for it too much. And we don't want them up for it too much, do we? We want them to have their heads in the game, not heads anywhere else other than doing what they've been doing every week. So, we'll see. He is a fantastic manager, a manager of football, a football team, and a manager of people as well. So he will know the right thing to do with different players and to get them in the right headspace to play a football league game, which is essentially what it is. And a cup final. Sorry.
Cup final. Yeah. Go remember when top of league comes to your ground, it's like a cup final. Just go remember that. Mate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Jamie appreciates the pig. Thank you very much, Jamie. Pig behind myself. If audio listeners will not know what we're talking about, so apologies. I've got a pig behind me. Danny's got his pig. Andy Glaze, is the pig a reference to Wednesday? It might be.
Oh yes,
it might be.
Why? What happened on Wednesday?
Donaldson asks us, will we be on Sunday night? Yes, we had and ahhed about this because Monday we're going to do it later, but Monday's Valentine's Day, and Mick wants to spend the evening with his wife, I think. So we're going to still do it Sunday. Go on, you can pull your funny face if you want. Your wife that mentioned it, not mine.
I thought it was because it was Super Bowl on Sunday night. Anyway, whatever.
What time are we doing it?
And what time is it now, mate? Probably the same time. What time is We'll do it at that time.
I have a horrible feeling that Sunday night I may still be in the pub, pending on the results. So if I come on Sunday night absolutely battered at Kimmy Park after we've beaten Wednesday, I do apologise. But we'll wait.
That is slurring his words.
Yeah.
Real. Last time we played a Mick, you made loads of comments and you got yourself in all sorts of nonsense. But we raised some money for charity. That's important to point out. We raised 500 quid for Rotherham Hospice. Would you like to say anything else to wind some people up, or have you done your bit for now?
Well, what I would like to say is thank you, a massive thank you to Barry Bannon for the shirt they donated, which was a wonderful gesture. And we raised, I can't remember how much it was, 800 plus quid for Rotherham Hospice. So it was fantastic. We've got bigger fish to fry now, haven't we? In all seriousness, we've got our eyes on something past, a tin pot local derby.
Okay, fair enough. God,
I can hear the screen record being pressed on so many phones right now.
Oh, whatever.
I reckon all computer shops in Rotherham have sold out any recording equipment in preparation for this podcast, mate. All Wednesday fans will have bought it all up.
Yeah. I know you said that. I know you said all computer shops in Rotherham because all computer shops in Sheffield will be United fans, won't it? So.
Donna's going to get you some shots for breakfast on Sunday morning, Danny. I don't think you'll be the only person on Sunday having shots for breakfast, to be honest with you.
I'm going to be at Kimmy Park for about 9 o'clock, so oh dear. But one thing I will say though is it is a dry bus going to Hillsborough from Kimmy Park, just because we know what South Yorkshire Police is going to be like. You know, they tend to not like I said, we're not giving us the allocation initially. They know how big this game is. But yeah, I don't know. Shots for breakfast. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Talking of fan unrest, Mick, you made your Radio 5 Live debut on Tuesday night. Talking about fan behaviour, didn't you? We didn't put this out. We'd like to tell everybody what happened.
Yeah, that was it. You've just told everybody. That was it. Yeah, Colin Murray did an hour on whether there's a rise in disorder at football matches, whether it's increased over recent months, years, whatever, and obviously because of the clowns that we've had at some of our games in the last 3 or 4 matches, they obviously wanted somebody in from Rotherham. Curiously, the others were Leeds, which I get, obviously, dirty Leeds, and the other 2 were Norwich and Watford, which
I did think the Norwich one was strange.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, unless they both work for BBC. I don't know. Who knows?
We're 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night, so there won't be many people available.
Exactly, yeah. So I've not had any requests for autographs yet, or for a reappearance on BBC, strangely enough. What I would say is Colin Murray is very complimentary of Rotherham United and very complimentary of Warney and Tony Stewart, and very sympathetic for a member of the media, very sympathetic towards the situation at Rotherham at the moment, or the problems that we've had. So, which is nice.
Yeah, what I would say, I think it's important to point out, we're on Sky on Sunday. I'm not looking forward to being on Sky because of the coverage in general that we get. When we're on Quest, I know they've got to because of the EFL show, but the EFL coverage is very, very good. They're very knowledgeable. They get the guys on from the Top 20, is it, podcast? Yeah, they get people on and know what they're talking about. And Colin Murray, as you mentioned, clearly takes an interest in what he's producing and what he's presenting. Whereas that's not always the case with Sky Sports with certain presenters and co-commentators. So that's hats off to Colin Murray and everybody at Quest. We don't often praise national media, but I feel like they are quite good at what they do. So I suppose we should mention that. Ben, I'm going to ask you a question I've completely forgot. Darren Drysdale, referee. Darren Drysdale is the referee for Sunday. The only notable thing for him is he was the guy that squared up to Alan Judge for Ipswich last season. He did ref us this season already. Yeah, we did. It was good. He refed us at Cheltenham. From what I remember, he had a pretty solid game. From what I recall, when watching him, quite impressed. So yeah. Well, what do you expect from us? We know Woody's coming back in, and we know that Greg will come out. And I assume you're expecting to see JJ, the 2 big changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Woody's obviously going to come back into the side, and I guess with Harding now, he will have played 3 games. If he starts on Sunday, the question would be: would you then possibly ease Angus back into the action? Probably not for that one, but hopefully see him on the corresponding Tuesday, and then. I mean, Ferguson's going to keep his place, I would imagine. Would expect Rathbone to come back into the side. It doesn't sound like his back injury is as bad as it was Tuesday, so he'll probably come back in, and then Coyote into the top side. You asked me a question earlier about the team talk. I think Josh Smith has posted in the comments saying about Wilesy, and he won't need to get up for it. I would probably just let Wilesy take the team talk, just tell them what it means to Rotherham fans, because that's who he is.
Yeah, yeah, I think you bang on. Will mentions there, Danny, that he thinks Rathbone will come back in for Lindsay if he's fully fit, which is a big if, but you assume he will be. That's the only question, really. The other 2 sort of pick themselves, JJ and Woody coming back in. That's the only real question in that one spot in midfield. Yeah,
I think so. And I mean, he did travel down to Wimbledon just in case his back did ease up. Unfortunately, it didn't, so he was on comms. Well, depending on how you look at that. But it sounds like he's had a bit of rest and could potentially come back into it if all is well with his back. like we said at the start of the podcast, for us, it doesn't really matter because they're both equally as good at the job that they do in midfield. But yeah, if Rathbone's fit enough, I can see him coming into it because I think a player with his, how do I put it, his energizer bunniness. So, he would possibly terrorise the Wednesday back line, and his constant running would probably breach their midfield as well. So yeah, I could see Rathbone coming back into it. I think up front, KO'd will probably start. But if not, I think enough time has passed to probably welcome Ladipo in with sort of semi-open arms, with a little bit of anticipation about it. But yeah, I'm going to quote Ben here because I honestly have no idea. I'm not a football manager, so I'll leave it to Warney.
Yeah. Well, that's one way to get back in the fans' good books for Freddie. If he comes on Sunday and scores another late winner, all's forgiven. Ben, I feel like we've really spoke to you tonight. You've been quiet. I've seen you yawn a few times. What are your thoughts on the line? What we've just mentioned? What do you reckon?
It's so difficult because there's a lot of moving parts at the time. But yeah, I'm not a moving manager, but there's also a lot of facts. Obviously, Grig's injury. I don't know. I don't know. Pick names out of a hat. No, I think unchanged, obviously, except Grig for and Woody, obviously, yeah, for Coyote.
Do you think we'll see Mattock drop out for Woody, Mick?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I would have thought so. He can move him over to that left hand side. Woody in the middle, and Wes Harding there. So yeah, Woody back for me. JJ in for Griggy. I personally would leave Lindsay in there. Give Ollie Rathbone another week's rest. Because of the importance of the following game, we need that midfield as strong as possible against Wigan. So yeah, and having said that, even with Lindsay in there, that midfield's as strong as possible, isn't it? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any difference. You just swap one out for the other. It makes absolutely zero difference. So I think you'll try and avoid making too many changes. Unnecessary changes. I can't see there being much difference to Tuesday night. I do suspect we will see a difference in the performance, though, the 90-minute performance.
Yeah, possibly. Cheryl Stone asks, is it too important a game to risk a good performance from Freddie? My answer to that may well be that it's a good time to put him in, because if he doesn't perform on Sunday, when is he ever going to perform for us again? That's the game. This is the game where he's got to put performance in. And bearing in mind the goal he scored last season, he's going to want to follow it up. So maybe it's the perfect time to blood Freddie back in to sort of test the waters a little bit. Don't know. Interesting. Let's go some score predictions. I'm going to start off this week, and I'm going to go 0-0. Two teams that don't concede, innit? Benjamin, you're next on my list. What do you reckon?
2-1 Rotherham.
How late is our winner going to be?
I go 85th. That night. A little early. Little early.
That's early, that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, Ben.
You gotta let the winner. You gotta let the goal marinate before the half. Not marinate. You gotta let the goal sit with the whole stadium before everyone's allowed to leave.
I also say let it marinate with the fans. That's very poetic of you, Ben.
He then changed it.
Yeah. And then realised it wasn't in London anymore and had to change it.
We don't have marinade up here, mate. We just have gravy.
Correct. Danny, thoughts?
I think it's going to be 1-1. I think. I don't know why. I just have my suspicions about that scoreline. That's all.
Danny, you were right on Tuesday, by the way.
I was. A few people said to me, "I wanted. Did you get that right?" I'm like, I don't know. I've got a crystal ball in my bag.
And you're wearing a grey shirt, so you're going to be lucky thing for us again. Mick.
What? Oh, score. Yeah, it's a difficult one because I can see why people would plump for 0-0. You know, with the how sort of how tight both defences are. However, our attacking eight.
I know where this is going.
Well, no, I mean our attacking eight have scored 50 odd goals this season, haven't they? You know what I mean? So would you bet against us not scoring? And that's the question. I don't know. Well, it remains to be seen how good their defence actually is. So I think we'll win. I think we'll win the game. I think it's going to be another 2-1. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a late one as well. I think he's going to play probably 5. It's going to be 1-1 at full time at 90 minutes, and he's going to put up. The ball's going to go up for 3 minutes, and we're going to score 111.
Okay.
Well, that next goal winner thing is going to have to come back and bite them on backside sooner or later, isn't it? You know what I mean? So
true.
We ain't got
I will convince you we're going to say 5-0.
Well, yeah, I should have done really, shouldn't I? And you know, if we're walking out of Hillsborough on Sunday afternoon and it's been 5-0 to us, then I'll regret it then. But until then, I'll stick with 2-1.
Fair enough. Will?
I suspect if we won 5-0, Mick, you won't be too bothered that you've got the score prediction wrong.
No, not really.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to look past 0-0, but I think there's going to be a late winner either way. I'm not sure whether we're going to lose this 1-0 or win it 1-0. But I do think that if Asai 2-2 is on the bench and available, we might be able to use that pace late on. And after what happened with Smudge at Hillsborough last season, he's surely due a late one, isn't he?
Yeah,
true. That's very true. So we'll put 1-0 either way. I like your style. Late. Let's put late. We have John S. with score predictions. Heem and Harvey Kelwick are going 0-0, along with I'm the player. Lots of 0-0s. Donald London thinks 2-0 to Millers. S64 Miller with the 1-0. Scott Grundy with the old 2-1 favourite, the famous 2-1 at Hillsborough. And Tip Top with 3-1. And finally, Philip Rawlinson 2-1 with a 92nd minute winner. Ben Wild Screamer, Darren Garner-esque. Yes. And Donna says, if you get the score bang on, I saw the minute as well, she's going to make you a Rotherham United street sign for your place in London. You can get London with you, Ben.
Yeah,
a proper football team. We are definitely running out of time, but I'm going to mention Martin Huckle's comment. Can't understand why Warney isn't up for manager a month for January. That's a good question. But Michael Smith is. Michael Smith has been
what, for manager a month?
Yeah. What Smith has been nominated for Player of the Month, so we could get consecutive winners of Player of the Month, which would be some achievement. There we are. If you've enjoyed this, thank you very much. If you haven't already, please do subscribe on YouTube. We're creeping up to 500 subscribers, so we can get there soon. We would very much appreciate that. If you are a Sheffield Wednesday fan who has watched this and I'm going to clip that because I think it's funny, just stick the YouTube link in your tweet as well, so people know where to go and they can watch it and subscribe and everything like that. That'd be really, really appreciative. But I would be appreciative of that. I'm sure somebody will clip something. Because we know how sensitive they are, don't we?
We do without the person.
We're all back on Sunday evening. Some of us may be worse for wear, but we will be back at 8 o'clock on Sunday evening. Then we'll be in full Super Bowl pre-match mode. So you'll get a load of NFL.
With my wings and my beer and all my American things.
Yeah.
If you're going to have inflatable big hands, I'm going to... Oh, dear.
I'm going to what?
One of them big inflatable hand things, you know.
Yeah, I've got one. I've got one of them. I've got one of them. I'm going to wear it. I'm going to wear it on podcast.
Oh, no.
I'm going to wear it on podcast.
What's your Super Bowl snacks, Ben? Come on, very quickly.
I don't know. I've got it in the house, probably.
To Walker's crisps. There you go.
I'm not American, am I? I'm not going to order wings. I'm not American. I mean, I'm far from it. I'm from Rotherham, not.
You're not from New York City, you're from
Yeah,
Rotherham.
exactly.
Sorry.
Well, you've ruined the fun there, Ben. So well done, mate. Thank you, everybody. As already mentioned, please do subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter. Subscribe on iTunes if you want to audio listen, which is amazing as well. So we'll be back Sunday. Keep out for today's match day vlog. If you haven't watched the Wimbledon one already, do watch that because that's really good as well. That again, that's on the YouTube channel, which you'll be able to see on there. Ben, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
Danny, a bit of pleasure as always, and I might even see you Sunday.
Yep, always a pleasure. Hopefully I do see you Sunday. Just a little plug for Donna's business. It's the Personal Touch, which is probably where Ben's sign will come from if he does get the score prediction right. So yeah, just a little plug for Donna there in her personal business because she's been making me Rotherham United stickers, which will get plastered all over Hillsborough's away end on Sunday. So there we go.
Love it. And Nick, have I said bye to you yet? I've run out of things. I was just looking at Darren McAnthony back blocking his own fans because of ticket prices.
Classic D-Mac.
God.
He's done a chance here, hasn't he, and started charging £42 a ticket.
As it.
Yeah. FA Cup. Topic for another day. Well, might see you Sunday. I might see you Saturday. I don't think I will, but I'd more like to see you Sunday.
I mean, either way, mate, I probably won't see you because I'll be battered.
That's fair enough. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. It's been a pleasure to have all our listeners and viewers with us, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys. Freddie's on one-on-one. Freddie's fairly shoot. Container shot. Unbelievable! Apologies to the neighbours.